time for me to go. I wanna sail away. I wanna feel the weightlessness of my soul. To escape. We'll take you home. When you're walking on the moon, walking on the moon, chase your happy place. It will change your groove. When you're dancing on the moon, dancing on the moon. When we dance again, all our troubles seems to fade away. That I've never been. When we dance again, all our troubles seems to fade away. This is how I feel. When you take me to some places that I've never been. When we dance again, that I've never been. That I've never been. Walking on the moon. One moment to escape. We'll take you home. When you're walking on the moon, walking on the moon, chase your happy place. It will change your groove. When you're dancing on the moon, dancing on the moon. When we dance again, all our troubles seems to fade away. This is how I feel. When you take me to some levels that I've never been. When we dance again, all our troubles seems to fade away. This is how I feel. When you take me to some places that I've never been. When we dance that I've never been. That I've never been. That I've never been. It's coming over, washing over me, coming closer, pull you close to me, coming over, washing over me, coming closer, pull you close to me, and I'm breathless, waiting for you to save me, but it's hopeless, hoping for you to notice me. If I fall with you tonight, swear that you won't take my life. Something haunted in your eyes. Swear that you won't take my life. Swear that you won't take my life. Swear that you won't take my life. If I fall with you tonight. If I fall with you tonight, swear that you won't take my life. Something haunted in your eyes, swear that you won't take my life. Open up my mind for you. I don't have enough time, it's true.
I was muted. This is why we have F-Dot. This is why we hire F-Dot instead of me as the host. Welcome back to the grid. This is match day number 3. I'm Turtle. I'm joined by the lovely social media manager, Farwater, a.k.a. Jake. How you feeling?
I'm doing pretty good. I woke up at like 1 a.m. this morning, so I was so excited to see you. So, and also cast the grid. Yeah.
Well, you killed it last time. I mean, we all missed you over the last few days. I certainly miss seeing your face. I'm glad that you enjoy seeing my face. We've got a lot of crazy action so far today. We are starting an hour later as well because there was already the round 1 matches. We had a bye, which is why we are just getting started here. We got our first matchup coming soon. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the groups. Here we go. I'm excited because we got some juicy matches coming up, Jake.
Yeah, I think they're competitive. I think we've been kind of lucky with how the schedule looks with last week, unfortunately not going super well for us, but still the games are pretty decent. And then this week we've got, I would say, pretty even matches. What do you think?
Right. Definitely. I think that this is another week where the matchups are, I don't know, I think last week they were in our favor. Meanwhile, we come out here and it's more even. It's a 50-50 battle, I think, in every single series. I mean, we've got KCP, Sonics, the Knights. These are all teams that we're constantly trying to prove ourselves over just because we align at the same spot, you know, top 8, sometimes maybe top 12 in North America. And that's why I think today is pretty important, because not only do we get to practice against our rivals, but we also get to set a standard that we are better than these teams and that we deserve to be in that conversation for top 8 that we're always trying to fight for.
Yeah, I think today is just important for confidence too. Like standings aside, and like you make a good point, but standings aside, like it's important for the guys to get back into their groove, find their rhythm again,
Yeah.
and figure out what works. Because last week was really difficult for them. You know, we managed to finally get our first win in the grid, but I think statement wins over these any of the three teams today would be pretty good for their confidence going forward.
Oh yeah, 100%. And then now coming in, we're going to be going up against KCP. This is our first matchup, who actually came off of a 1-3 loss against NRG in round one. We were talking behind in the green room, Farwater, that maybe there was a chance that KCP took that game. When we saw it, it was 1-1 in the series, and we were getting a little bit spooked because nobody wants to come into a red hot KCP who, when they're on their day, look very scary with rapid and memory and beast mode heading up top.
Yeah, I think recently, I mean, they got top two at the last regional, right? They lost. I mean, they got kind of destroyed by Rogue in the finals. But
Yeah,
at least they made
yeah.
the finals. So
It was a
looking
very
pretty
weird
good.
regional event too. Yeah,
It really was.
See, that's the thing. When you have regional events, Farwater, I want to get your take on this. Like, whenever you have teams like that, and we've seen it in Europe where, it's Team Queso versus Solary, teams that we don't expect to be there. Like, how much of a legitimate argument can we make because of those? Do you think those are one-offs, or does this prove that KCP is a team that will consistently now make top 4, top 8?
That's really hard because, like, I think in any other esport, you would say that means that team is really good now. But I think the reality is, like, those top 4, top 6 teams are just always top 4, top 6. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Rogue is always top 4, SSG, NRG, G2, and Envy. Like, those are always the super strong teams. So I think it's really difficult to look at any like one-off or suddenly good performances from anybody else and say that they're now top 6.
Yeah, and I mean, when I look at a team like KCP, though, I genuinely don't view, or at least I used to. I don't know. I feel like it's been frustrating because of Alpine's recent performances. If you guys haven't been catching the grid, you mentioned it just now. We got our first win last week, so now we are sitting at 1-5, which obviously isn't the most ideal place to be at. But if you had paid attention to those individual series, you would notice that we were so close multiple times on closing out a series. It came down to a bad start sometimes in game one that would kind of set the tone for the rest of the series. And the boys on Alpine have been putting in a lot of work to fix some of the core issues. And whenever you do end up tackling those problems, it creates a lot of friction. Sometimes it's harder to get things going, especially in a league play format like this. So getting that first win last week, now coming out here against KCP, I would view KCP and Alpine pretty similar. I think that KCP, with the recent results, are a bit above Alpine in terms of consistency. But with skills, whenever Alpine's on their day and KCP are on their day, I think that's a toss-up.
Yeah, I think it's really. It's so hard to guesstimate where we stand just based on recent results.
Yeah.
Because, like, if this would have been last split, I would have said we'd probably take this like 3-1 maybe if I had to put a number
Yeah.
on it. But this split, just struggling to find rhythm and struggling to figure out what works as a team, and so. I think it's going to be a tough match, but I hope that they come out swinging because I know that practice has gone really well this week. They looked at what went wrong and tried to fix it as soon as possible.
Yeah, and we also got to pick Percy's brain a little bit on the last show. We got to ask him a couple of questions. One of the questions that I asked him was, you seem to be pushing Jordan to be a bit more aggressive. For everybody who is unaware of the playstyle that Alpine usually goes for, Jordan is more on the backfield. He likes to play that third man role, and last week we saw him be very, very aggressive. He was on the Dominus, and as soon as we saw him on the field, we were happy to see him on that card because Jordan on the Dominus, that's the best Jordan in my opinion. And we asked Percy, are you sending Jordan forward more often? Is that a new strategy? And he said that it was something that they're trying to implement a bit more and that it felt good. So do you think they're going to implement that here again today, Mr. Farwater?
Yeah, I know that like recently the conversation has been they're working a lot on communication, but I think the next elevation of that process is actually implementing what that communication means, and a lot of time it means implementing the third man, using him in an aggressive way, using him to challenge balls that wouldn't necessarily have been gone for in the previous iteration of what the strategy was. So I think, with Jordan playing more aggressive, you're gonna see errors and you're gonna see issues, but Percy talked about this a lot last week, like you said, that it's what they want. And so even if things aren't going well results-wise now, we have to remember that the grid is not as significant as, say, a regional, and so testing these things in a competitive environment outside of scrims is still super useful.
Yeah, 100%. And I think one of the main things that I took away from what you just said was the fact that it's the third man that they're trying to implement more. It's not necessarily Jordan to be specific, because all three of these players on Alpine, Jordan, Magic Bear, Percy, they can all play that third man role. They do like to swap who's being aggressive on a certain day or a certain series. So it's important not to focus solely on Jordan pushing up, but just the third man in general to be a bit more aggressive. And now I'm excited because KCP, this is the grid, this is the proving grounds, this is where you can implement new strategies. Maybe we see something crazy. You know what? Maybe Farwater is actually the one playing on the field, and they're going to throw you in. Maybe as like the fourth man, we can have a 4v3. I would like to see that.
I think that would actually hurt our chances of winning the game.
No, come on. I believe.
I don't. Dude, we talked about this in the green room before, but yeah, today was not a good look for my tournaments in Rocket League. So, yeah, I've got all the faith that the three guys can pull it out.
Yeah. And now, actually, oh, wait, we got the game. I was going to talk about the round one results, but it doesn't even matter. The only thing we're going to focus on now is the series at hand, Alpine Esports versus Kansas City Pioneers. Another good test to see where Alpine have been on their come up, and that one saved from KCP. That was incredible. I think Jordan ground pinched it or something to get it on target. How did they find the save?
I don't understand how that ball didn't go in the net. Like, that's super confusing.
I'm clipping it.
Yeah, I mean, one thing to notice right out the gate is that Percy is a guy who doesn't use decals, like hardly ever. He just runs the Stocktain, and he's using the, what is a Tiger decal? I always forget, but that's like his sweaty try-hard decal.
I know.
Nice shot from Jordan. Yeah. Nice save by Rapid in the process, though.
I like having that
scrambling
inside.
to get back.
I've
talked to him before.
Input. Hey,
Yeah,
so
I've
whenever
talked
he's
to him about
feeling
it,
really
he's just like,
sweaty, that's when he comes out with it.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like he's been running it a little bit more, so maybe he's found like his decal. But yeah, he usually just runs Stocktain, and he has like one other decal that he runs on the Dominus, but he only rarely uses the Dominus as it is.
After I did get the clip as this one falls in, I was going to talk about the previous attempt, but our defense seemed to be struggling in the midfield. That's a poor challenge from Magic Bear, but you wish that Jordan was back. I'm not sure what happened in the rotation, or maybe even messed up that flip to get back in net.
Yeah, that's, I mean, unlucky save from KCP for us in the first couple seconds, and then unlucky touch there. Like, I think Jordan just expected the 50 to go in our favor, and it didn't. Hard to really say what he was thinking there, but
I would like to
we can only
take another
guess.
look, because it seemed like he didn't have any momentum on the rotation. I talk about momentum playing a key factor in this game nonstop, because you slow down a little bit with the handbrake, and it's a simple 50 like that could squeeze in if you don't have the speed to get back in time. I think Jordan wasn't going supersonic, and it caught him off guard. He wasn't ready, and that's one early goal given away to KCP.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't, that mistake doesn't play too much in the head. It's a nice center from Magic, but yeah, I think early mistakes like that, you kind of just beat yourself up. You can try to beat yourself up over it, but you know, at the end of the day, you just have to come back. As Jordan's got a really nice air dribble attempt.
Ooh. Oh no, Jordan was falling and
unlucky,
saved
man.
it. That is okay. So if the first goal doesn't tilt you, that one has a better chance, I'd say, at getting you a bit frustrated.
Unlucky. Like the last, like there's three. Jordan with the own goal, Jordan with the save shot there, and then us not scoring the first goal in the early seconds of this game. Like those are three super unlucky things that, like, I don't even know if you could attribute to an error, because like there's no way Jordan can dodge that ball. But I mean, super unlucky, even though luck doesn't exist. But Jordan's got a nice look at Percy here, but it's picked up by is that Beastabonium up in the air? Beast mode, yeah, and then. Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing here, just to take away from how the early 3 minutes have gone, is Jordan's got a center. It's just that, like, it doesn't look like anything's going poorly for us. We're not picking up a ton of speed, but we're also not giving up too much ground. So, aside from the unlucky looks, it seems like we've got a pretty good game on at least.
Yeah, I think game one has been clean so far. We almost came into this series with a clanger from Magic Bear with that ground pinch. He didn't get it. Now Rapid off the backboard, a double touch, but doesn't find the accuracy. Magic's trying to clear this one out. It's been stuck in our half for quite some time, but finally there's the relief we needed, and a shot on net, forcing the defense to make a little save and waste some boost. This one doesn't hit the ceiling either. It's been pretty boomer ball, I'd say, for Alpine and KCP. Nobody finding that initial possession for us, Farwater.
Yeah, that's a huge save by Magic there. I guess Percy and Jordan were both scrambling to try and save the previous shot. So good looks from Magic on defense. He gives a demo on memory as well. So this is now a 3v2 on offense, but Rapid goes to clear it out. So, you know, I wonder if we saw this earlier, but Rapid's rocking the oxygen. I wonder if this is a little bit of BM because they're the other green team as Beast Mode styles. A little bit of unluck back in our favor, you know? It goes both ways.
I mean, I say it wasn't even close. Beast Mode, horrible player, no mechanics, doesn't have any skill. That's what we have to do on the Alpine broadcast. Just roast the other team, say false statements, because Beast Mode is somebody you do have to be scared of, and so is Jordan, but that shot was wide, or not wide, it's going to be weak. I feel like I'd rather have more power and have it go wide. Maybe we get a chance at a follow-up than just giving away possession like that. But now another pass in the midfield, almost something there. And Jordan, another attempt, but it's not good enough. The power is lacking on the final execution.
Yeah, I mean, we just can't get the ball in the back of the net as it's saved on the goal line, double line defense. Man, we had such good looks throughout that entire game,
wow. And
just nothing converted. I mean, I think shot accuracy comes into play a little bit there, but I don't know exactly what they needed to do differently. They just needed different results.
Yeah, I mean, 12 shots, 0 goals. I think that we have most of our offense connecting. It comes down to the final execution. I think Jordan as well is going to be a bit frustrated mentally because not only did he save that shot coming off of the backboard when he could have rotated around, he also couldn't find power. If Jordan's behind the ball, and we love to see him on the dominance, that's a surprising factor for me, is seeing Jordan be a bit weak on the shots, because when you have the dominance, you can get some crazy power, and normally that is something Jordan thrives at. But here he's struggling. Couldn't find the accuracy, couldn't find the power. If we fix that up, find the execution, the midfield passes were there, Mr. Farwater. We just need to get that power.
Yeah, I know that a little bit of insight is with the round 2 of the grid, it can be a little bit difficult to find warm-ups as Beast Mode gets him an early lead in game 2. But I know it can be a little bit difficult to find warm-ups for round 2 starts because of everybody having already started their day. So I'm not sure if we had the best of warm-ups today, so you might be seeing a little bit of cold starts because of that.
Well, and that does not bode well for Alpine, just because we talked about it pretty much the first 2 days of grid matchups, was Alpine's slow start and how our warm-up is the most important aspect of the game. We come out in game 1, we look strong, that's how you know Alpine are here to stay and most likely take the win, but it's already been a slow start against KCP, and come out into game 2, we're a bit slow on the defensive line, the rotations didn't come out, and that's what gave up the opportunity. But Alpine, once they do find their footing, things could start to go the other way, and we could start it off here in game 2.
Yeah, one thing that I was looking at on that last exchange there is I'm really liking how Magic is looking on defense today. Like, even just with a little bit we've seen, he's making some really important saves that are not easy. So I think as long as we can frame the beginning of our offense off of his really good defense, as he gets a nice 50 at the wall there. But looking for that. Okay,
we're good. We're good. No worries.
Stop breathing for a
slower
second
start.
There,
I mean, here's the thing I've been seeing about Alpine's defense is the fact that they've had a couple of looks where nobody wants to go out and challenge the net. We have 2 people in net waiting for that shot when somebody just needs to be rotating out much earlier to find what is happening here. Nobody wants to go up to that initial shot. There's all this space given to memory, and you look at our defensive line, Magic Bear doesn't want to go for the challenge, and Percy doesn't either, so we're caught in no man's land, and we can't find that recovery.
Yeah, I think that's the second time now where it looks like we've got 2 people who want to go for the ball, neither who want to challenge it, like you mentioned, and and it just leads to like
Oh,
nice home goal.
we
Nice
take
shot, nice
these,
shot, nice
boys.
shot.
We take these. Jordan, I like the idea. Slow things down. You can see him kind of faking under the ball a bit. If you're the defender there, memory, you think he's going to go for an early shot, and then disaster strikes in the communication of KCP.
Yeah, you know, the power of the own goal giveth and it taketh away. Like Jordan
right.
had a mistake in game 1 and we get it back in game 2. So one more to go and 3 minutes left, definitely doable. So just need
I
to,
mean, maybe that
you know,
bleeds
drown
into their
them out in
mentality.
midfield.
Maybe KCP
maybe.
get a little bit worried.
I mean, you can certainly hope so. But back to that like double commit.
Wow.
I
Do we
think
need to
this
talk
is
about
like.
this?
I think this is exactly what we were talking about though. Of like we don't that like you know in soccer it's like the 18-yard line, that the box. Like
Right.
we don't seem to know how to attack that ball today. The one that's like right on the edge of that box on the pitch, and it seems like there's so much hesitation specifically right there that is leading to what is now 2 goals in this game alone. As Jordan's got a really nice 50 that pinches out, but no one's there to receive it. I think that is just the biggest thing, is that they're really Alpine is really struggling to figure out how to attack
Right.
those really short range balls, and I don't know the solution to that.
I personally have run into this problem a lot whenever I was playing. Whenever you have a team that is struggling with their results, haven't been able to connect the dots on offense, you start to get into this passive rotation where you don't want to frustrate anybody else on the team. You're too scared to double commit in a rotation. So therefore, you've got multiple people sitting on the goal line, scared and hesitant to go for the challenge and get an early 50 on the shot. Speaking about early 50s, that was a great one from Beast Mode when nobody on his team had his back. He found the 50 and buried himself out of that defensive trap that Alpine had laid.
Yeah, I mean, here's another chance on offense. Like, nice by Percy. Okay, Jordan had a huge bump on the goalie there. Like, it looks like we're like picking up really good momentum here, and I mean, a minute and 30 seconds to score on one more goal is enough. But that one definitely took a little bit more creativity. It wasn't you know, a stock flip reset that anybody could pull out. That was definitely a full team play, and it's a lot harder to coordinate that than it is to do something by yourself and go for a solo play. So fingers crossed they can pull it off again, because you got a minute and 30 seconds to get one. Otherwise, we're down by 2, and we're two games. And we talked about this last week about how important banger shot by Jordan, how important getting those, you know, at least tying it up after that game 1 loss is, because it's so hard to come back from 0-2 behind.
I think that goal speaks to Alpine being warmed up now. Initially, it seemed a bit off with their mechanics. They were a bit slower to go for the challenges. We've been talking about this all series long. But now, with that play involved, it required communication from whoever was getting the bump, and also the shot to come out. This one off the backboard, not a good bounce. That one went right in front of our net, but nobody from KCP was ready to respond. Maybe Percy on a good 50 could result in some kind of opportunity for Alpine. The angle was tough for Magic Bear, and he almost found it, but he gets it back in the middle, off the corner. Percy's just got to put it away. What are these saves coming out from KCP?
I mean, like, how do you, when you have 3 good looks like that, and all 3 of them get stuffed, like, what do you do? Like, I mean, it's just like outplayed, you know?
Every single opportunity
no
for Alpine
excuse.
looked clean. Every opportunity came
that
from the
looked clean,
midfield, but Jordan, this is, it's scrumptious. It's delicious. I am so satisfied with that fake flip reset from Percy. That's how you tie a game up.
I mean, I said a minute and a half is enough, and apparently I was right. But yeah, I think more creativity. And we talked about this a little bit last week as the games were heating up on the Alpine side, where when they have those creative looks, when they get to play as 3 and involve each other, Percy's got a nice look on offense here, but
maybe it's
messes
the
up
love.
recovery.
No way. Percy almost got the
So
50. He
close.
was sitting under the ball in that corner. I thought he was going to keep it up, but we got overtime. Alpine warmed up, fired up, ready to go. And we saw the mechanics come out. Maybe Jordan's air double commits from KCP, maybe a follow-up from Percy. It's weak. The shooting power isn't there. What
No
happened?
way, dude.
Oh, my You're lying. You're lying. What is this?
This is the classic.
No, dude. Oh my. How do we
Percy
go
was looking for the
from
pass to
a
Jordan.
picture perfect opportunity?
Yeah, Percy's looking to the pass for Jordan there. Jordan is looking to rotate out because he has no boost and cut in rotation, and I think that just kind of messed us up. You know, when you're staring down the barrel and you see an opportunity that could end the game, I think sometimes it's a little bit difficult to not overcommit and just full send it when you really need to just go into your rotations.
Well, for starters, we have somebody in chat that says, I am a KCP fan. I just wanted to say I feel for you guys. See, that just explains what we just witnessed on the field. That was a ideal opportunity from Percy where it comes across. He has a shot on net, didn't have the boost to get the power. I still think that in that situation, you need to get more power. You have maybe less boost than you would like, but it's all about the timing with your flip into the ball. You should have gotten more power in that situation. Percy's got to be feeling a bit sorry and a bit down on himself. But in general, I think that was a great game from Alpine and something that they can build on, because the first game looked the opposite. Game 2, I think that towards the end half, we were dominating with pressure, boost starvation. Everything was there for Alpine. It just came down to the power. Why are we hitting things with like a tissue, man? I don't understand. It hurts me.
It's really difficult to look at last week when we were hitting banger shots, and then looking now. I don't know. It's difficult too because KCP's defense is playing really well. But two things that I saw as like super positive from that game is Jordan making solo plays is very scary for any team's defense. There was one moment where he like stopped it on our side of the net, right in front of our net, and took a nasty aerial that set us up for that third goal. And then the second is again the creativity of the team and involving each other in some three-man pass plays, some bump plays like Jordan had that set up Percy. Anytime we have those looks, it's just a different Alpine, and I want to see more of that Alpine.
It's a bit scary whenever things are connecting for this Alpine roster, and they're so young. Memory starts off yet again in this game with the first goal. KCP, I believe, have scored every single time first in this series. Now Memory gets a follow-up off the backboard. Jordan wasn't in position, and nobody was there and ready to challenge Mr. Farwater. What are we going to do?
Challenge the ball, I think would be my first tip.
That is an interesting point you bring up.
It is easy science, as there's a laser pass to the offense.
And we're going to take another look at the backboard. The dunk from Rapid. Jordan was going for the pass out to Percy, but it was completely read by Beast Mode. He knew where Jordan was trying to go, saw the counterattack that Alpine were trying to build, and cut it off as soon as he saw it.
Yeah, I mean, that's just frustrating. Like, you go from getting scored on in the first 50 seconds. This person got a really nice look.
That's
Please
not going in. Are you? Okay.
Let's go, Jordan.
We're good. There's no worries. This wasn't even close. All right, Percy got the dunk. Beast Mode was seconds away from finding the clear, but that 50 was too good from Jordan.
I mean, you talked about this before the game, but these touches need to be more decisive. Like they need to be those clangers that set us up for an actual goal. Like I think you've pointed at Percy a couple times, but man, he had like a perfect chance there, and it just went to nothing because he had like a weird flip that lost all of his energy. So I think that would be another one as Beast Mode puts in. Is that his third? Is that a hat trick?
It seems like, I believe that's the second, because Memory scored the first one.
Okay.
But we have had situations off the backboard where once we get any amount of pressure that we have to handle, things just collapse for Alpine. KCP are doing exactly what we need to work on, which is booming the ball. They're not super precise about where they want to touch things or where they want to flood this ball with. You're not touching into the corner trying to create some insane 12-step process to get an opportunity. They're just clanging this ball and hoping it works out.
Yeah, and take notes. Oh, Magic very nice slip, and Beastman with a huge save. I mean, here's a double commit. We've seen KCP double, triple commit like 2 or 3 times now, and just even in the last 2 games. And I wish there was more capitalization on that, but I just don't think we're in a position. As of course he hits from the left again, just not much power behind it. Like I think that's the biggest thing. You were just talking about it. Like hit the ball as hard as you can. Like I think we're looking for accuracy or something, and it's just making us lose so much power on it.
Right. And Rapid, this is pain. This might be the final shot to permanently put Alpine to sleep in this series, but there's plenty of time. Okay? Plenty of time. 3 minutes. With the peak performance of Alpine, there's no doubt we could make this comeback. We have to get our defense sorted, though. Any pressure, any possession we have to deal with from KCP is terrifying because Alpine cannot find that organization. But once we're on offense, it's smooth sailing.
Yeah, I think you hit it right in the head. Like our defense needs to be more solid, especially in those like short range challenges, and then just finding opportunities on offense that have solid connections. No more. I mean, that's open net right there, but no conversion. Yeah, it's finding a solid connection. Everybody being on the same page. Like it just looks like there's not a whole lot of cohesion on the side of Alpine.
Yeah, and you can see what Alpine are trying to go for with the counterattacks. This is what got KCP's, I believe it was their second goal, was Jordan going for a defensive pass to Percy in the corner, but it was read and caught off guard. This one's wide open, like you said. Percy there to start the comeback. It's surely possible. A little under 2 minutes, 2 goals to go. But if KCP keep making issues like this, I could see it happening.
Yeah, I mean, that one's kind of lucky. Like we can't take that. You can't look at that goal too hard and say, oh yeah, here's what we did right, because it's just an open net. There's no over rotation from the third man at KCP. Yeah. So, I do think there was some good looks in that overall play. Matic hits one off the backboard. I think he was just hoping somebody rotated from Alpine into that. But here's another look from Percy. He's gonna hit it up high, looking for second man to come in, but Jordan's a little bit behind on the play, and he's trying to challenge his ball in the midfield. Rapid with a really good clear here, setting it up on our back wall. Percy needs to clear this ball. Really good.
He's got boost.
Really good rotation here. Jordan with a pre-jump too, but I think he was expecting Percy to give him the ball a little bit sooner. Here's a nice connection from KCP as well. Jordan off the back wall, sends it off the side, and it's just a little bit of boomer ball. We're getting the hits that we were talking about, a little bit harder hits, but we need them to actually connect here. And then in the last minute with 2 goals behind.
Yeah. I really wish we had started this series out with this style that was just throwing this ball up, trying to make something out of it. There's been more boost in the tank for Percy, but he does miss that one off the backboard. But here's a chance. Lots of space here, 2-on-1, but the early challenge. And if that was Alpine's defense, we would have gone back to net. That is the key difference as Rapid finds a pre-flip into the ball. They are so early to get those challenges, even in 1v1 situations. Meanwhile, Alpine prioritizes going back to the net, Farwater.
Yeah, I think, if I was on the green goat side, like playing this game, I'd be very frustrated because it looks like they aren't. Nice demo by Percy. Oh, there's time, Turtle. There's time. It's not much time, but there is time.
We mount the comeback, boys. Prepare. 17 seconds, a solid kickoff into maybe another bump, which have been pretty effective for us. Could lead to something spectacular. We rarely get to see comebacks like this happen, but I'm a believer. I'm not a believer anymore.
When you have, not when,
12 seconds for 2 goals. Come on, Farwater. We can do this. This is
just back-to-back kickoffs.
Hey, this is possible, all right? Mr. Water.
I mean, to be fair, it's like Magic. That is just an incredibly hard ball to predict. That's how it's gonna bounce. Like that only bounces that way 1 out of 10 times. It's super unlucky.
Wait, Magic. Okay, never mind. I thought maybe if he found the angle from the corner, but unfortunately, Alpine could not find the final shot. Maybe a 2-point play. I believe the 2-point play for the other team. No, we're good. KCP take the series win off of a frustrating showing from Alpine. Wow.
I'm gonna come back to the points about warm-ups because I actually know that they didn't have a chance to warm up before that game. So this was their warm-up,
Yeah.
and I think we saw it. Like it's difficult when scheduling becomes a tough element, and I think that was sort of reminiscent of it. KCP came off of an energy game or an energy
Yeah.
series, and that's good practice. So I think we got that one out of our system. Yeah, we went down 0-3, but we had really good looks. I mean, that last goal from Percy was, I think, really intelligent to recognize that he wasn't in a position to score it, but he was in a position to make it a goal regardless.
It's the same thing that we always say for Alpine. They look good in specific moments. You can see what they have to offer on the field. But when it comes to playing as a full unit, instead of having these subtle highlight reel plays that you can pick apart in a series, we want to have the whole game just look solid and consistent overall for Alpine. And that has been a struggle for us on the defense. More specifically, I think once we clean up those rotations, that would change everything. Now, obviously, I'm not some kind of master guru. I'm not sure exactly what that key issue is. For me, it just looks like they're not challenging everything, and there's too much hesitation when it comes to that defensive line. While we look at KCP, they were so eager to get to challenges, to confront any member on Alpine right away. There was no wasting time when it came to their rotation. So Alpine need to adapt that moving forward. And I was wondering, you talk about warm-ups. What does the warm-up look like if they can't find any scrims? I mean, do these boys just get home from school and then instantly have to log on? How much time do they have to, I'd say, warm up themselves individually? Because if you can't get scrims, I still think that 30 minutes to 45 minutes in free play and or custom training could be an okay replacement for that.
Yeah, I assume that's what they did. I saw they were talking to Creams beforehand, and I know that they usually sit in free play for a bit regardless, so I'm guessing they just blasted some music and warmed up the best they could. Obviously, you prefer some kind of scrim, but yeah, it's hard to say. I think we had good looks, like I mentioned before. I really liked seeing Jordan go for the open midfield plays where he's just styling in the midfield up in the air, and I really liked Magic on defense. I think Percy maybe just needed to be a little more decisive. Like, I think on the goal line, he looked a little bit slow to get to the ball, and then just his touches for passes were a little lackluster. So, I mean, he's a crazy good player. We all know that. Just needed to bounce back in this next series, and we're playing against the Susquehanna Sonics.
Well, we got the warm-up out of the way. KCP end up taking the win 3-1, but Alpine looked good. Hopefully we can keep this trend going forward. We've got the Sonics up next for Alpine. Go grab a snack. You're not going to want to miss it.
side just when you need it most. Feel the freedom of being careless, just being in love. Everything will be alright. Through the darkness, through the night, no fear anymore. No fear anymore. No fear anymore. Why the smile on your face? Don't fake it. You don't have to pretend. What a fear in your eyes will make it. Just take a chance. The thing that haunts you, leave it behind you. The ones that love you, let them guide you. Everything will be alright. Through the darkness, through the night, no fear anymore. No fear No fear anymore. They don't know how we do it. They'll never get it anyway. Conquering the impossible. Oh, with a smile.
Hey friends, I'm not F dot, I am Turtle. I'm the worst version of that F dot man anybody has ever seen. But I wanted to do his intro to maybe feel a connection with him. And when I say hey friends, I kind of reminisce. But we have a better replacement for me on the other side. That's Farwater. How you feel, man?
Mainstream, by the way. Yeah, I think the first series was tough. I'm excited to see if they can bounce back in the second against the
Absolutely.
Susquehanna Sonics. But that first one was not it.
Right. It was a frustrating game to watch because you could see the elements that Alpine had to offer. They just couldn't connect them together. Things were struggling on the defensive side. Hopefully we see a reversal here coming into the Sonics. And we were even talking during the break, Mr. Farwater, that Sonics, they're almost an illusion of a team because they are 0-8 right now in the grid, but I think 7 out of 8 of those losses were to top 8 teams like Version 1, NVG2, SSG, now NRG. I think their only rough loss was against XZ, and even then, it was a game 5. So while their record is not that good, they haven't been tested with teams that are on the lower side, such as Alpine, which has me a bit scared, but I'm still confident going in here. And hopefully they're a bit tilted after that NRG series.
Yeah, I think being down, I mean, we're talking about it right now. Like, being down negative a lot is not good for the mental. Like, we at least have a win. Like, yeah, they can talk about how their schedule is difficult and against top 8 teams, but that doesn't stop the fact that they are 0-8. So yeah, I would imagine that that's probably at least annoying for them. I don't know if it's tilt worthy, because you can at least pad it with they're top 8 teams, but I would certainly be a little bit frustrated with their results if I were on the Susquehanna Sonics team, because we're obviously frustrated over here too. Like, I know the guys are working on fixing their mistakes and getting through it on this side as well.
I think the problem it brings up for the Sonics going 0-8 against most of the top teams is that you have not created a safety net for yourself. I mean, even 1 or 2 wins against, say, G2, NRG, SSG, somebody from the top would relieve a little bit of pressure. But now as things come down to the final few match days, this is, again, match day number 3. We've had 2 rough beginning days, which is 1 and 2 that happened a couple weeks back. Now we're in the 3rd one. There's only 2 left after today. There's 4 and 5. And it's going to come down to the line. It's going to come down to a lot of close matches. We've got the head-to-head as well coming up for us to see who's on each specific roster. We're going up against Shock, T. Carell, and Roldiz, who used to be a coach. Nobody knows how this man started popping off, or where his, I don't want to say where his skill came from necessarily, but just where the energy, the talent came from, because he has been, I'd say, the best player on the Sonics the past few weeks. Yeah,
I think it was really surprising for me, just having, covered the Sonics on social media and having watched them in our head-to-heads in the past. I think it was really surprising to see their replacement and seeing Roldiz come in and just honestly kill it. Like, they performed really well at the last regional. It's surprising, but not, or it's unexpected, but it's not super surprising, because I think Shock and T. Carell, I've seen the player cams of Shock, and he looked like a very animated leader, right? Like, he was very talkative. He looked like he had a really good game plan, just in how he was talking to his team, right? If they had any amount of downtime, if they had a break after a kickoff, if they had a break after a goal, they had a break between games, he was just always filling that dead space, and I value that a lot, because I think you can just kind of let that dead space stay silent. And then T. Carell is just, he's crazy good. Like, I think he's a good counter to Magic in terms of what the two of them bring. Just super talented, super mechanical players who you can kind of just expect to come up in the clutch, even if the odds are stacked against them.
Yeah, I agree 100% with the way you described each individual player. And with Sonics, I think they have a very natural chemistry to them. They didn't really have to work too hard to get things flowing. Meanwhile, Alpine have been struggling to find that chemistry together. I think that the passes were a bit forced in the last game, like when Jordan was going into the corner for Percy to get the counterattack. He kind of forced that one out there and didn't necessarily have to go for the pass because it wasn't the best option. He could have gone for the booming clear, which is also another issue that we talked about. Hitting the ball with power. That's something that Alpine had a couple of chances to do just that, smack the ball, but instead they went for a more precise, softer touch, and while it had accuracy, it wasn't getting past the defender, and that just speaks to how amazing the Rocket League defense has become now in RLCS. These teams are evolving at a rapid pace, and it's coming down to incredible shots that are in the upper 90 top shelf area, and sometimes that doesn't even work. So against these teams, you've got to be bringing everything you have. Against Sonics, I expect a really close series from Alpine because we're warmed up now. That was an issue, or a topic that we did talk about in the previous series as well. They weren't as warmed up. Now we've got that first series under our belt. We can look forward and hopefully approach Sonics with a better mentality. Do you think we win this game 1, though? That's the issue.
Honestly, I don't think so. Obviously, I'm Alpine's biggest fan. Like, I'm by nature have to be to cover us on social media, but I think just history would trend to us not doing super well in game 1s. But I think that's kind of point that we have to take away from this is like we have also won series off of being down in those game ones, and I don't want to say like we're used to it, but it definitely doesn't put us behind as much as people might think. So I think where we really need to okay, as rolled this just sounds nice save by Magic, but
another one, Magic Bear. In and out, save, and now Percy on the counterattack. It can't look any better than this. We go from one side to the other and get the first goal.
That grab by Percy there, that ball stuck to him like glue. What a conversion though. Like that looked like it was a goal after the shot.
Wow.
The second shot came in from Sonics, but out of the back of the net came I don't even know who from Alpine, and we pulled it off.
Yes.
You know, maybe they heard me.
That is incredible.
This is the first time we've done up in the game.
I think Percy was listening to you. He knew, after you called him. I mean, you didn't necessarily call him out, but he was having a rough showing in the first years against KCP. Somebody asked in the chat as well who we all played today. We have only played KCP. We had a bye in the first round. This is our second matchup, and we're warmed up and ready to go.
Definitely we want to start a game. Like, don't put yourself down from the beginning. Don't put yourself in a stupid position. Like, be smart. Obviously get the first goal if you can, but don't make a mistake. And I think Sonic's overcommit a little bit as it was another crossbar shot. Like, shooting accuracy is obviously a super important factor here, and Sonics is now 2 for 2 on crossbars.
And Alpine obviously do not want to be the team that ruins the Sonics loss streak. We would like to keep that going, of course, from the boys on Alpine. And I think a big aspect of what Alpine was missing was building off of each other on great plays. Like Magic Bear in the first goal that we got today, or in this series, excuse me, the first goal was him getting 2 back-to-back goal line saves where Sonic should have scored. And a lot of times for Alpine, it would be one and done. That's it. We have one good play on defense. We stay alive. That's all we get. But instead, we come out here, and Percy was able to capitalize and add on to that play and get a good shot on net.
You don't like seeing that, though. Percy definitely did not know Matic was coming for that ball. Let's see if they get punished. Nice save by Jordan cutting across. Matic and Percy with another double. They need to stop double committing, please. Nice bump by Jordan there, though.
Percy? Fake him out. Oh, my goodness.
So close, man.
You can see what he was going for. He saved that last jump to try to bait out the defender and think that Percy was going to go low, but really good defense from Sonics.
Yeah, really good defense, but they've been putting on defense a lot just so far in this series. Like, honestly, we're looking a little bit smothering on offense so far. Like, Magic and Percy just keep double committing, but maybe that's a secret formula against them when we're on offense. It's just double commit on the ball, and they'll never win a 50, right?
Yeah. I mean, exactly. That's all we need. Double commits left and right. The Magic, I think Farwater was the one who said that in the interview. It's like, double commits don't matter, but so long as you win the challenge, which to a certain degree is relatively true.
I mean, if you win the challenge, you can complain, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, some people actually use that strategy in the game. It's like, if you're both in the same spot, you might as well both go for the challenge. I feel like your odds are better. Now Jordan off the ceiling, his odds are pretty good because he saved his flip, got the dunk, and now a midfield pass from Magic back to Percy. This is what we want to see from the boys. We just didn't get the shot, but it looked good.
It looked really good. Obviously, if everything looked good, then or if we based it off things looking good, we'd be 10-0 right now. But here's another chance from Percy. I mean, he keeps getting these looks, and T-Crow shuts that down real quick with the demo. But he keeps getting these looks on offense, and that's what he scored our first one. Another demo in the goal. This is super dangerous. Nice save by Percy, though. They keep getting these. Percy keeps getting really nice looks on offense with like on the ground dribbling, which is kind of a different look for him, but it's working so far.
And if I'm on Sonics right now, I would be terrified. Percy has had several performances in the past on Alpine throughout all of RLCSX, where he has single-handedly, I think in some series, he's even scored every single goal, if not missing only 1 or 2. Like, say we score 12 goals. A lot of times, it wouldn't be a surprise to know that Percy scored 10 out of 12 of those. Now, in the midfield, you can see how everybody's warmed up, and it's nice to see them building on each other. That's my favorite thing from Alpine's offense. They want to use each other. Jordan had gotten a good ceiling dunk on that previous play, and then Percy and Magic Bear did a little bit of passing. Everybody got involved.
Yeah, I think you mentioned Percy's shooting, and I think one of the reasons for that is because he keeps really good control of his car a lot. Like here's a fun little stat for you. So on everybody in Alpine, Percy has the highest percentage of time spent on the ground, which take from that what you will. But he's definitely a super proficient dribbler when it comes to, nice save, Jordan. When it comes to just keeping things tight and keeping his car where he wants it to be, so that he can make the optimal play for what he's aiming for.
And I think the difference, as I'm going to shut up, and this one drops down, the difference, what I wanted to say for Percy is knowing when to utilize that ground play that you talked about. So if he's the most dribble-oriented player on Alpine, that's great for offense in particular. But when he's on defense, sometimes he's a little bit slow because he likes to control the ball so much. He doesn't want to challenge and plays a bit more passive. If we get the best of both worlds where Percy dribbles on offense, does all that control stuff on the offensive side, but then come to defense and he's a bit more aggressive, which usually is the opposite of what we have to tell players is to be less aggressive on offense and more passive on defense. But for Percy, it's the opposite. I think that could be a great style. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think in the first series against KCP, on defense, he just looked like tired or a little hesitant or whatever term you want to use to describe.
Needed a 20-minute nap.
Yeah, something like that, where he just wasn't as fast to the ball as he normally would, and who knows why? Maybe it was warm up, maybe it was just the series or whatever. But he's definitely looking much better in this game, right? I think we've seen him come out with a fire in his eyes, and you want to see this ball cleared if you're an Alpine fan. But he's looking much better, which is a really important part for Alpine, as you've highlighted, because he is the person that puts up the numbers that matter, right? Like the goals. He's our best striker. He's our best goalie. Like when he is hot, it is very good. It's a huge save by Jordan.
That was a good pre-flip from him as he's coming across the net. The third-man rotation was spot on for Alpine. If that was the same situation against KCP, 9 times out of 10 Alpine wouldn't have had an answer and nobody would have been in position. But there have been a couple of physical plays. Sonic's a little bit all over each other, a couple of double commits, and this one's just wide open from shot, but saved from Jordan. When you're swiping across the net, he's gotten a couple of saves when he needs to.
Yeah, I mean, we were just talking about Percy being our best goalie, but Jordan has made like 3 massive saves. Honestly, there's 4 this series alone.
Make it 5. Make it 5.
Make it 5. Like, start the tracker now. So, I mean, this is what we wanted to see, right? We wanted to see the team get better on defense. We wanted to see harder hitting shots on offense.
Oh my.
Couldn't quite make it.
This was almost a very, very flashy play because Roldis was trying to get the follow-up touch there from T. Carell. I'm sad that we got scored on, but it's like, if you're going to score on us, at least do the fancy play, man. That's just disrespectful to have to rely on the third man. I think that there's no shame from Sonics, but overall a good shot, a good pass as well. The defense lasted for quite some time. I think this whole game we've been stuck in our half.
Yeah, I mean, super defensive team we are. I don't want to sound like Yoda, but I don't think it's necessarily uncomfortable for them. But we definitely need to limit how many shots we have coming out of the Sonics, because at some point, like in that last play, something is going to convert. Like they're going to score a ball. So, I think as long as we get good looks and good conversions like we've had so far, 2.5 minutes to 2 minutes and 45 seconds should be enough to make a net as Percy swings in for the save there. But I think Sonics is heating up a little bit. Their offense is looking a little bit more potent, and we just want to make sure we control it on our side.
Well, if there's one thing we've learned from interviewing coaches over the course of RLCS, it's that teams do not like to play passive at all. And being stuck on defense sometimes can be an effective strategy against certain teams, but for the most part, it's one of the worst, at least in my opinion, one of the worst Rocket League strategies you can go for. Because there's just so much more room for error if you are on the defensive side. You have to choose whether you want to be aggressive or not. Fakes will come out as Magic Bear gets a nice little dribble out from the midfield. Now we've got some pressure on the offensive side. The key is to keep this pressure going instead of letting that clear take over.
Here's Jordan looking like he wants to keep it going. As Percy, nice touch, middle of the Magic.
Oh, in the middle.
Bang.
too clean, my man. This is the midfield passing that we almost saw with that other three-man passing play. First, he drops it into the middle, and you even mentioned on the previous broadcast, Mr. Farwater, that the dynamic duo of Percy and Magic Bear has been a thing since the beginning of Alpine.
Yeah, it was the thing that, you know, when I came into the team on the social media side was constantly talked about by commentators who'd seen, like F-Dot, who'd seen them in the RLRS, and it's definitely something to keep in mind. But, you know, these solo plays by Jordan, we keep seeing them more and more, and we talked about how Percy said that they're trying to make Jordan a little bit more active on offense. And we've seen multiple attempts by him to make these solo... Oh, my God,
this was
that was dirty. Yeah.
There's not much you can even do here. And Percy's boost just got stolen. If Percy gets that boost in the corner, T-Corell cannot get up to that ball in time, won't find the angle, and we survive. But that boost, that was a pivotal moment for Sonics.
Yeah, I mean, I think Justin had a goal like Jordan, that was almost insane. But I think Justin had a goal like that was on the RLCS stream a couple weeks ago, where it's that top right corner, and it's like just a straight cut down angle. Like, it almost looks inhuman in comparison to what we see a lot of the other times where, you know, you'll see a passing person. But that is one of the toughest angles, I think, on defense, because you just don't expect the ball to go in. Like, it's such a low percentage play, but when it happens, it looks so good.
Yeah, and you always see teams in that position go for the midfield pass, but hold on a second. Maybe a bump opportunity from Jordan. Shock handled that perfectly. Didn't panic under pressure, and now his team gets a counterattack where you're in a 2v1 situation. We had the communication to go for the bump, the demo play, but Shock was just too smart.
Uh-oh. Now what you want to see. Nice magic, but it's an open. Double commit. Saves it for us.
Chance.
Percy with the flick to Jordan. Jordan going for the demo and the goal. Percy almost bumps it over. Let's see if Magic can turn this around for us. He's trying to pass it back to the other team. Where's Percy?
Off the sidewall. I believe Magic Bear knows that Percy's in the middle. The dynamic duo. Jordan, the final shot, but it was wide. Not on target. And a bit weak. Oh my goodness. The last opportunity that Alpine faced. I'm not cursing the team. This is not my fault. Okay, I didn't say anything about losing or winning this entire game or this entire series. Okay, how are you gonna blame that on me, Twitch chat? This was a close one. I can't believe it. I thought we were gonna get that last second shot, truly, because Jordan, he was in the right position, the right spot. That midfield pressure came through, but we just couldn't find the accuracy.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a super close game. Like, shots to saves were close on both sides. I think Sonics had like 2 more shots and we had 1 more save or something like that. But a super close game. I think there's not much that you necessarily want to change after that, right? Like,
no, not really.
So close where it's just like we just need to convert. Make sure you control the backboard a little bit more, or make sure you just control it as much as you are in general, because I mean, T-Corell had that nasty shot off the top right, and they were looking for a lot of backboard shots, so I guess there's one thing to look at, but I wouldn't say we're doing anything wrong there. Just keep it in mind.
I mean, we lost that previous game because of 1 boost steal from T-Corell in the corner. That's how close it was. If we want to get really nitpicky, we could talk about Alpine's defense and how we were stuck on our own side, maybe work on the transition game a little bit, but I wouldn't try to change too much, because that could end up ruining a good thing that we have going on. We had opportunities in the final 10 seconds with Jordan's shot. Maybe another one here in the midfield from Magic Bear, who hits it off the sidewall. Close looks, a couple of close calls, but nothing has passed that goal line since, I'd say, when did we score last time? I mean, it was early last game. We've been on a little bit of a drought.
Yeah, but man, we keep seeing such good looks. I've been saying it all day, but like, I don't want to miss that. Oh, that was close.
No worries, no worries.
Little worried. Nice clear by Percy though. You know, Jordan's had really good looks on you know, just solo plays. I want to see them convert that more. He's getting it so far down the field, and maybe just because he's third man and they need the clear, but I mean, honestly, it looks like such a good setup, but here we go. Another pass play off the side. Percy ditches it up high. Magic Bear with a nice chance to send it middle. Jordan should be here center, and Shock gets the clear. Jordan, again, 0 boost, but he's got it up center. Cleared away by
a frustrating play there for Jordan. as well, because if Jordan has any boost, he could have gone for a follow-up touch, maybe even a flip reset. Maybe the midfield pass, though, from Jordan, who went for the fake, tried to have time to set up the shot, but all of that patience was worthless just because of that one rotation from Sonics.
Yeah, and it's pretty, right? But we talked about it earlier. Like, if we judge things based on if they were pretty, we would be 10-0 right now. So, nice dunk. Oh my god, another crossbar.
Hey,
Crossbar
we take
simulator.
those. We take those. And demos aren't working either. Every time I see Alpine go for a demo play, somehow Sonics find a way to dodge it. Maybe we mix things up a little bit instead of going for the demo, trying to take the boost. That's something that we've been lacking, is the boost department. We haven't been able to find pretty much any corners, and not even our own half the time. Just getting starved by Sonics. And Tikro going for a bump on Percy. He finds it, and this one slips in for Sonics.
Yeah, that one hurts. I watched Percy get chased for demos so often, and then we watch the comms videos, and
Man.
it is so deflating to know that you're doing everything right, and then you just get taken out of the play. Definitely sucks. So, got to come back 2.5 minutes in. But like we were saying earlier, like, things are looking clean, things are looking good. It's all a matter of converting. And you talked about it when we were between the series between KCP and the Sonics now about, defense in the RLCS is so good now, and I think the Sonics are showing that. Like, we have such clean looks on offense, and they're still able to stifle them. So, there's something that needs to be figured out a little bit more, some aggression, maybe just choking them out of boost so they can't get to the play as fast, but definitely frustrating when they're chasing demos in the back of the net.
Oh, and we've had so many good looks. That interception then from Roldiz, I think the Sonics are understanding our game plan. They're finding better interceptions.
Dude.
The demos aren't working. Percy off the backboard. This is an early read, and it goes in. What is this read? He was up so early to get this one.
Dude, I mean, talk about the read, but look at that setup by Jordan. Like, he had a carry from our back left corner, flips it up to himself again on the sidewall to a pass off the back wall. Like, that is picture perfect setup for Percy there.
It's so clean. It's so clean. And now Magic Bear's alone on defense, 2v1 situation. Nobody goes for the bump, but he left it for the shot. Magic Bear had no boost and found the touch. Absolutely clutch from Magic.
0 boost in a dream, right?
Oh,
and a shot
that's
from Percy. Let's go.
Yes, sir. He's warmed up. And look at the fake. Farwater, you can see him hesitate a little bit on this first shot to get that T. Corral pause, to make him use the handbrake, and then it's lights out once he got that.
That was a little bit of payback for that demo, right? He's like, "Oh, you're gonna make me look bad and score on me? Here's a little bit of payback.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fake you out on your goal line." You love to see it.
What would you rather get scored on? Would you rather get demoed or get faked? I think I would rather get demoed for sure.
I would rather get demoed because at least that was taken out of your control, right? But a fake, you are in control of the ball, right? You're in control of your own car, and you have to bite. Yep, exactly. That super feels bad. Jordan with another nice play at the sidewall. I'm loving these solo plays from him. Like, I'm just gonna keep talking about it because I think it looks so good.
I mean,
top down from Percy.
He has had better looks. Oh my! I like what Percy's going for there, and the aggression. And now, a couple of demos. This is scary. This is scary. Okay, Alpine, just hold on, man. 33 seconds, and we take the series lead. Go to match point. Alpine have struggled in the past. Within the final, I'd say 30 seconds, we start to panic a bit. Keep the aggression up. Don't let Sonics rotate out if you can help it. And try to dodge these demos.
Yeah, and I think we're doing a really good job of just killing time as we get another look on their net. Magic is insane, dude.
This seals it. This absolutely seals it, Farwater. Magic Bear off the ceiling. It looked like he was going to get the follow-up. Corral whiffed on the save, and that's security to take game number 3.
He's a wizard, Mr. Isaac. He's a wizard.
He is a wizard. You know, I always think about, like, which show. I mean, would you be a wizard or like a warlock? You know what I'm saying? What would you rather be?
I think I'd rather be a wizard because they're usually like the good guys.
What is a warlock? Hold on.
That's a great question, because it depends on what universe you're looking at, right? Because Warlocks can be good, they
Does
can be
anybody in
bad.
chat know what this is?
Anybody in here a D&D master or a WoW fan?
Dude,
Because
yeah, I actually
they would
can't
know.
figure this out. I
It's
look
okay.
up Warlock and it just comes up with this weird movie about like a son. I don't even know. I'm just gonna ignore this because this
Turtle.
is just getting out of hand.
If you could be in a house for Harry Potter, what house would you be in at Hogwarts?
Oh, this is a good question. I feel like this tells so much about
Mm-hmm.
a person's personality. I would be in. I'm sounding like a generic man when I say this, but I'm gonna say I'd be in Gryffindor, baby. Come on.
I actually agree
Come
with
on.
you. Like, I definitely think you'd be Gryffindor.
Thank you. See, that makes me
Yes,
feel.
you have like main
What
character
would you
vibes,
be?
right?
How
Definitely Ravenclaw.
dare you?
Definitely Ravenclaw.
Ravenclaw?
Uh-huh.
Why Ravenclaw though? Like, why? I don't even. I want to get into the lore real quick. Just tell me why Ravenclaw.
You know, it's like the smart, like sarcastic type, right? They know they're smart,
Okay.
and yeah, I don't know. I've taken the
So you're
Harry
saying that
Potter
you know
test
that
and-
you're smart. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I'm genius. Very humble too, and equally
taking
as
that test
good
as
looking.
well.
So I'd have to be a Ravenclaw, right?
Oh,
Very humble.
You know what? I could confirm both on the brains and the looks. And speaking about brains, everybody on Alpine has 500 IQ after the plays we saw last game. You know that their
Jordan,
IQ is up
please.
there. The follow-ups from Jordan, not on. Or actually, it was on target, but it was saved from Roldiz. And Alpine, this is a better start than previous game. That's for sure.
Yeah, has some good looks so far. I mean, nothing too crazy going on in the first minute or so. So we'll see if we can keep it at a standstill. Maybe try and sneak something past the defense, because Sonics have definitely come out swinging when it comes to the goal line defense and making sure that they don't get they don't falter there. But I think also we've just looked so dominant here. Like Magic Bear going for this flip reset there. I don't think he got the flip, but if he had, it would have been dangerous. T-Krill, nice save by Percy. Put it off the back wall. Magic Bear, desperate save. Couldn't get there.
And check out the defense from Alpine. We got a save from Percy. Jordan was a bit too slow. And then Magic Bear inched out of the net. It's a little bit too much. If he stays in the goal a bit deeper in the net, maybe there's a chance or a world where he gets a touch or finds some kind of challenge to that shot. But overall, we need to have a better clear. We can't rely on that third man to get up so early and Sonic score first.
Yeah, we look at Magic in the goal there and say like, oh, maybe if he'd done this, then it would have been easier, it would have been better. But like, I think really what was needed was Percy's touch there was just a little soft, and that's not even talking about like harping earlier about what we were talking about in the first series against KCP. That was an incredibly difficult save. Nice. Okay, redemption. That is redemption.
Look at the place that Percy snipes this ball off the backboard. You've got, I wouldn't say an open net, but a good shooting opportunity. What does Percy do? He doesn't go for the target. He actually goes a little bit to the left to follow up with Jordan, who has a beautiful 50. And like you said, Farwater, redemption for Alpine. All tied up 1-1. Match point for Alpine. We could close this out and keep that loss streak for the Sonics alive.
Yeah, and we talked about it a little bit before, but like, this is probably less than an even matchup, potentially in the Sonics' favor. So to win this would be huge for us to put them even lower in the standings against what is not a top 8 team this season.
Oh my!
T-Krill's insane.
Dude, whose perspective were we on? There was somebody in the corner. I think, it was Percy. Percy was coming across. I thought maybe we'd see one of those pinch plays off of the side wall or the side post where the goalkeeper comes across and then you somehow squeeze that ball the other side. But unfortunately, the ball had enough power to get in time. Percy couldn't find the save. I still think we're looking good. We just need to figure out a way to handle that Sonics offense. Magic Bear, oh my! That clean rotation out was deadly.
Man, Shock is so. What's the word I'm looking for? He's so like stoic on defense. It's so hard to face him. It seems like anytime you go for something tricky, you go for something that's going to trip him up. he's just ready, and he's read it. That is scary when you're in offense because it limits your playbook by so much. As Magic Bear needs to find something creative to get this out. I know we're super low on boost right now.
Shock doesn't panic, and he hasn't, I don't think, one time. Maybe the bump play? Yes, sir! Alpine gonna find it, and check out where Magic Bear goes. He gets the flick in the midfield with barely any boost, by the way, and then goes for the bump, forces T. Corral to stop in his tracks, and we get our tied-up goal.
I mean, yeah, bump plays. Like, I think one of my favorite things to watch Magic Bear doing, aside from going for ceiling shots, is watching him chase someone down in the back of the net. He's an incredibly physical player on offense and in rotation. Like, the kid looks for demos almost to the point where he looks like a supervillain, right? Like, he seeks them out actively. And I would hate to play against someone who chases demos, and I would assume that it's super frustrating. A demo there would have been nice.
Yeah, and you can see Roldiz took his time here to save his flip and then get the fall. That was a really nice shot, actually. Wow.
It was.
I thought it was just going in off the crossbar, but he had to follow it up. Otherwise, he would have given Alpine a chance to get the save.
Close. There's a demo.
It's okay. It's okay. Don't get tilted, Farwater. Calm down. I can hear the sadness in your voice. I've got like that Naruto, like sorrow and sadness, or sadness and sorrow playing in my head. But it's okay. It's okay. We will make this comeback. We've got 50 seconds left. Plenty of time for Magic Bear. All right, you know what? You know what? Percy. He's been carrying us this entire series. I think he's going to be the one to get the tying goal and send us into overtime.
I think you might be right. Yeah, I think Percy's looked really clean so far in the series. Percy's got a nice chance here. Jordan's got a chance. Magic has a chance. Somebody go, please. Percy needs to cut. There's a really good chance.
So good.
I could not tell who just got demoed there, but Magic getting wiped out by T-Corral. Percy gets a clear shot. This is totally open. It was Percy.
What did I say?
You were a savant.
What did I say? What did I say, my boy? Percy from downtown. That is a monster clear. 10 seconds left. We take those, boys. We're going into OT.
That was clean. I hope we're going into OT. If not, this is looking really scary. Please go down.
No.
Kill
We're
the
fine.
ball.
We're fine. We're fine. It's going to drop. Wait, what? How did that stay up?
I don't know. It needs to go down though.
Please, somebody kill this. Kill the ball. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have a heart attack. Stop!
Siri, play Marvin's Room. Not like this.
This is when you cue Marvin's Room or Sadness and Sorrow. This is the perfect moment. Yeah, you know, the thing we can't highlight though is Percy's hat trick. You're right. You're right. We have to look at the positives. We have to look at the silver lining here, which is, I don't know. I'm pretty sad. I don't really.
I mean, Percy's pretty heated up, right? Like we talked about. I talked about. I pointed fingers at him.
Yes.
Percy's on fire, and I think that's what we really
your
needed.
mic like echoed so bad. What did you do? You just smack your desk? It sounded like the metal was just like running back and forth. I don't even know what I'm saying either.
I hit it
what
with
is that noise?
The
Can you do it one more time?
Wait. No, I hit it with the fury of 10,000 suns, Isaac. And
I want to hear it again, please.
Later. I don't want to tilt anyone in chat. You know. I don't know how
if
loud
we lose this
I've never
series,
done that
can we get a death slam? Can we get a death slam if we lose?
We can get a death slam. But I think Percy looked good, and we talked about him in the first series against KCP. He did not look so good, and
yeah,
that's turned around. I mean, you got a hat trick in that game. He looked really clean on the three prior to it. So now we're in a game 5. Magic Bear's demoing T. Corral. The ball was on their half. Magic Bear's got a shot.
Oh,
shot gets a save.
Right out the gates, though. This is a good start. We got to stop being so. If you're Alpine, you got to stop caring about the results, man. Just keep the pressure up. You get some good pressure in. Eventually, those goals will come. We talked about it. Nobody wants to sit on defense all game. And if we're taking boost, starving out the opponents, a mistake is bound to happen. The demos had worked against us and also for us when Magic Bear goes for him. And now off the backboard, we do get a save from Jordan to the right-hand side, looking for a transition. And we do get it. This is really good midfield play from Alpine. We barely saw this. I'd say the first 2 days of the grid, we never saw this type of passing. You can tell Alpine have been putting in the work, and they're swapping up their play style.
Yeah, I think the passing, like you've just pinpointed, has looked stellar today. Like not even just good. Like it has looked fantastic. And conversions off the crossbar or the sidebar aside, like that's what we want to see, right? Like the results may or may not be there, but just actually going for them and having the confidence to actually attempt such a thing is one thing in itself. So, we'll take the baby step, and at some point the goals will flow through. But hopefully not for Sonic Series. They got a clanger off the backboard. I don't like being on defense here, but Jordan's got a nice clear.
Yeah, I was a bit concerned for our corner play at first because we were just giving it straight to Roldis, but this is a lot better from Percy. That's what I like to see whenever he's going into the corner on defense. He gets the second follow-up and doesn't lose that 50. That's crucial for getting the transition out. And now Shock off the ceiling, almost something right there, but thankfully Alpine has had some good, solid reads on defense. Things are slipping up, though, and this is the worst look we've had on defense in quite some time. We got dismantled from that touch from Roldis. Look at his patience and that control to keep the ball in and get it in the middle.
Yeah, I think we just looked discombobulated. Like, we were looking for a clear that just wasn't there. Things have been cut off in the midfield. We talked about good early pressure from us. I think Sonic's turned it around a bit and got the upper hand and the momentum.
Yeah.
And it's super, I mean, you know this from your experience, but it's super hard to come out of being pressured on defense like that, where it feels like you're just being choked out. You've got no boost after 3 shots, and what do you do?
Well, and we have to remember, the mental game for Alpine might not be the best. We just lost the previous game at a buzzer beater. And now whenever we have shots on net that look flawless, it gets saved. And Percy, again, another shot on net, saved from Sonics.
That's it's very disheartening for sure. Like, oh my God, off the crossbar. Matic, please. We need one to go in here. Like, we need a conversion just even to tie up the game.
What is happening? Farwater,
Mayhem, Turtle.
We need to break the curse. We need to break the curse. I don't know what it is. This crossbar, these saves from Sonics. How have we not managed to get at least one on the board? Our shots look good. Our possession, our passing. It's all clicking. The defense from Sonics is just too superior.
I mean, the shots look clean too. Like they are not easy things to read. They are not easy looks for the defense. Like, I don't understand how those last 3 saves came in. Like, I mean,
we have to activate Magic Bear in his demo.
Indeed, I think that's probably the solution. Honestly, is just Magic Bear needs to be the first man here. I mean, okay, or not. He just gets completely stuffed. First at the back.
No, it's fine, 'cause on the way back, he's going to get a demo. On the way back, he's going to get a demo, and then possibly maneuver out. Please, Magic Bear, listen to me. Go for the demos, man. I believe. You get those demos, instant turnaround, baby.
I mean, here's another look, too. Jordan tries to read it off the corner, but 50 in front of their net doesn't go in. Magic Bear's going to lose the 50 to T-Corral here. T-Corral's out of boost, though. Percy puts it up in the middle. Shot goes for the clear, over to Roldis. Roldis puts it on the backboard to Jordan. Nice clear. You gotta get something booming that sets us up on offense. Like, at this point, we just need to send something off.
We're running out of time. Percy in the midfield. That was a good look, which is all we've had, but nothing that breaks the defense. Maybe a demo. I wanted Magic Bear to do it, but I'll take it from Jordan. Keep the pressure up. A double commit. The mistakes are popping off left and right from the Sonics. Surely something is going to break in the final 30 seconds.
They have to, otherwise we're going to lose in Game 5. Like, I don't understand how the Sonics defense can be so clean when our offense looks just as clean, if not better, but they're just putting the stops on. There's 10 seconds left. We need to save this, get a possession, and put it in the back of the net. Otherwise, that's Game 5, and we're going down.
This could be GG's. 3 seconds left. Magic Bear off the sidewall. Need to keep this ball in the air. Percy has a nice little pop, but it could be killed from Roldis, and Magic Bear has no boost. to get to it. The one chance we had got sniped out in the midfield from Roldiz. GGs have been dropped in the chat. And my goodness, was that a close series. Holy.
I think that one hurts more than the KCP one because we had such clean plays that were happening. We had such clean looks that we kept talking about through the entirety of the series. I think there's just a couple times that, I mean, honestly, Sonics just stepped up way more than I think anyone was expecting. We needed the ball to be shot at a different angle, but like it looked good, and that makes it so much harder.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they established a brick wall on defense. There were so many good shots from Alpine, and it wasn't one-dimensional either. It was a result from several different touches in the midfield, off the backboard. Jordan was even going for demos in the final minute, which I thought Magic Bear was going to, but it doesn't matter. If somebody's getting a demo, they're getting a demo. It doesn't matter who it is. And those were connecting as well. Somehow, the Sonics defense barely broke in rotation. They always had a backup plan or a backup player on the goal line. I feel for the boys because not only did we get scored on in Game 4, buzzer beater from Sonics to prevent us from going into OT and try to possibly end it earlier. In Game 5, we looked so good. We looked the most dominant, I'd say, with possession, but we could not break that defense. And it all comes down, in my opinion, to Shock and how calm he was on that back line.
Yeah, funny you mentioned that because the one that I remember, it looked like Magic Bear had just, we mentioned, I used the term last week, like a guillotine. You know, he was just going to cut it straight down from the backboard. And Shock had just saved the ball on the goal line and came flying at the top of the goal and saved it again. Like, you can't expect that kind of rotation on defense.
Yeah.
You can't expect that kind of rotation when you're under pressure. You got back-to-back shots within like 5 seconds of each other. But, you know, we talked about it. His composure just looked like it was too much. And that's a tough one. I think the only thing you can do today is hit that regain button. Just, you have to forget about the series. Take what you can that went well and look at PK.
That's like one of the most painful losses I think you can experience as a player. When you look good, you know, the KCP matchup, I'm not really. I look at that series and I don't think that was Alpine's peak potential. I don't think that it was a solid showing because we weren't prepared for it. But then we come into the Sonics one. This was fantastic. I am so happy with how we performed here, with the chances, with the looks that we got on net. I think Sonics, at the end of the day, were just prepared for it. Their defense, spectacular, and we have to give it up to them because our shots, while they were solid, they didn't have the power or the creativity to break the defense. We take the L and we regain.
Yeah, and now we're going to go up next against PK, who is 2-5 overall. I mean, we're 1-7. They're one over us in the standings. So, yeah, I think PK is winnable. We've talked about all these series so far. Definitely our matches last week were also equally as winnable. I think PK has struggled a little bit as of late, especially at the regional. Neither we nor they looked particularly strong there, and I think if there's one opportunity, you know, we did it last week in our our third series. I think we can do it again against PK. You know, especially pending their result of this next series. It looks like they're tied 2-2 to Oxygen. So we beat Oxygen in the regional qualifier last week. Then they beat us in a close series earlier this week. So if we can use Oxygen as an indicator of what that looks like, then PK is certainly attainable.
Yeah, and hopefully the PK Knights, I mean, I don't want to wish any bad luck on them, okay? I'm just saying, if they lose the Game 5, you're tilted. You come into the next series a bit frustrated. Alpine are certainly frustrated themselves. It would be an even matchup. There's a lot of different things on the line. You know, not only confidence with this rivalry, I mean, PK Knights and Alpine, again, sitting in that same boat of, are we top 8? Are we top 12? Do we have what it takes to compete with the best of the best? We'll find out, and it's going to be a tough one, but we'll have all the action in the next series right after the break.
lost my heart. Don't wanna feel your touch like ice, tracing all my scars. Why does it hurt on the inside? It's unforgivable, but I forgive you every time. Hard to let it go, 'cause we're intertwined. I break you, you break me, but something about it makes us whole, baby. Every piece keeps us together in the cold. I break you, you break me, holding our love in chains of gold. I break you, you break me, holding our love in chains of gold. Frozen in my dream, I can't escape the thoughts of you. If I try to leave, when I'm with you I can't move. It's unforgivable, but I forgive you every time. Hard to let it go, 'cause we're intertwined. I break you, you break me, but something about it makes us whole, baby. Every piece keeps us together in the cold. I break you, you break me, holding our love
Hey, welcome back to The Grid. My name is Turtle. I'm joined by the social media managing legend himself, Mr. Farwater, and we just came off of a very intense Game 5 against the Sonics, a heartbreaking match. How are you handling it? I'm a little bit distraught, I'm not going to lie.
I'm not. I'm going to subtweet for the rest of the night on Twitter. But, yeah, I mean, we couldn't pinpoint why we lost the series. Like, I'd be super curious to hear from any of our team, this coming week, like, how we didn't win. And I think they would just say we couldn't score. And it's not because we didn't have shots. It's just their defense was so good that nothing went in. And I think that's the most frustrating part of all of that. I think the thing you take away is we're really good at Rocket League. We just need to look ahead because you're not going to – you don't get the series back.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, most of the time when I go into a series like that and I see a team that has pressure, a lot of possession as well, it comes down to the shooting accuracy, the shooting power, or nobody going for demos. But the thing of it is, we had all three of those. We weren't lacking in any categories. I think we just weren't. I honestly don't even know. I was going to say it's not like we weren't excelling at any of those either. We were doing fantastic in every aspect, but we couldn't find the finishing shot. We were so close. We came so far, yet just barely missed out. But we have one more series left. PK, Pittsburgh Knights, are waiting for the Alpine matchup right now. I'm excited. I think that this is going to be easier, quote-unquote, easier than the Sonics matchup. And if we play that same exact way, this should be a 3-1 win, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think I agree. 3-1 sounds about right. It's kind of like the easiest guess we could possibly make, right? You got to give one to the other team, but I mean, like, we've looked like we're in a slump. I think PK looks very similar, just from what results look like, what the players have talked about on their social medias. Like, I think we're kind of both experiencing the exact same thing right now, and it honestly sucks because I think I obviously interact with Pittsburgh Knights a ton on Twitter, and they're great over there, and their team is awesome. So it sucks to see a team that I personally like underperforming. They came up we were talking about this in the green room beforehand, but they came up to the RLRS at the same time that our guys did. So there's definitely a connection there, and it sucks to see them underperforming at the same time, and it sucks doubly that we have to play them, and one of us has to lose.
Yeah, and on the other side, we've got Rodoko, ZPS, Sosa. I personally, I think Sosa is the foundation for this team. ZPS comes out with the fancy little plays. Rodoko has a lot of consistency on the defensive line. But Sosa dabbles in both the defense and the offense, and I think he is the main pillar that the Pittsburgh Knights rely on. Meanwhile, for Alpine, like I said, if we play the same way we did against Sonics, this has got to be a solid win for Alpine. Everything was there. I think Sonics, at the end of the day, plays defense they could have possibly asked for in that series. I don't think the Pittsburgh Knights, even at their best, can match that, and that's why I give Alpine the upper hand.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. ZPS has always been tricky when we've played against him. I mean that in like a kind of like a conniving, he's got something up his sleeve gameplay sense, right? Like he always seems to pull out like a weird flip reset
something
that
so
you don't
random.
expect. Yeah, like some weird pinch off of a corner that ends up being a pass straight in front of the net. Like he is tricky to play against. And you mentioned Sosa. I think they brought him onto the team because he is that pillar. Like he definitely brings a lot to what what they're capable of doing, both at a minimum, making sure that like they don't get scored on too much, but also on a maximum, right? Like he can put up shots himself. He can do crazy stuff. And then honestly, Rodoko, I think he's one of those like kind of like Jordan, where people don't really pay much attention to him because he has ZPS and Sosa around him. What is your take on Rodoko specifically?
Rodoko, I think, is less solidified in a specific play style than ZPS and Sosa, which makes him like a big question mark. Like when I see him on the field and when I see him fitting in with his team, he's not necessarily a big influence on both sides, and that's not to take away the impact he has, but he doesn't really need to do too much because you've got ZPS, one of the best strikers in the game, who can be super creative, like you mentioned, and also Sosa, who, in my eyes, does the best on both sides as well. So Rodoko kind of fills in the gaps where he needs to. Kind of reminds me of, awkwardly enough, Toroko. I'm not sure if the name is supposed to be similar in that regard. Rodoko and Taroko, I think they play relatively similar. Not only do they sound the same, but they also have similar play styles as the third-man striker, somebody you can count on to hit those shots when you need him to. And coming into this series, they're going to need a lot to fight against Alpine if we look the same way, because Alpine, Jordan was being aggressive. Jordan was going for a lot of demos. Magic Bear and Percy, more specifically, were so great together. The chemistry was apparent on the field all over. Yeah, you could see them connecting passes in the corner, in the midfield, and it opened up so many chances for us. And I hope that they continue that strategy. I hope that we continue to see the same level of aggression and ideas being implemented on the field, because if we go back to that stagnant, throw one player forward and see if he can 1v2, 1v3, it's not going to work out. We're going to take another loss. Meanwhile, if we go with everybody kind of connecting at the same exact time, that is just perfect Alpine in my eyes. And keep in mind that the Knights are just now coming off of a tough Game 5 loss against Oxygen. So we're in the same boat. Both teams here have lost in Game 5, almost clutched out the win, and almost managed to secure for Alpine the second win, and for the Knights, it would have been their third.
Yeah, I think like in general, it's easy to look at a loss and say like, and keep that in your head. But the reality is that that loss no longer matters for the sake of what you have to do next. And so it's all a matter of remembering what your game plan is and just executing on it. Because at the end of the day, one of you is just going to play better, and the series before just doesn't impact that, even if it might impact your mentality a little bit. So yeah, I think whoever can get the hard reset and come out swinging from the beginning, this has been our talking point that both times now that we've casted together. And if we can come out strong and get like the first goal in every single game and secure the lead, I think that is grounds for even potentially like a 3-0 sweep, because that is like the biggest thing that we struggle with so far. Is just getting a lead and maintaining it. And I think that is the number one thing that I want to see. I hope that Jordan pops off. I want to see some awesome solo plays from him. I've mentioned a ton of times so far. I think he's crazy good, and is what I'm looking at to show it. Less clearing, more double flip resets off of the backboard into a double touch, something crazy like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's consistency for Alpine. I mean, we have talked about it every single week so far, that Alpine struggled to hold on to the big leads, maintain the pressure, and be an immovable force to be reckoned with, really. And we'll see if that happens here as we get into game number 1, Alpine Esports versus the Pittsburgh Knights. See who takes it home. This is the final series of the day, and I'm excited. I think that Alpine, with how they looked in the Sonics matchup, this is going to be one spicy matchup.
Yeah, and Matty Bear is already looking super aggressive. We saw him get a demo in the first 20 seconds. He just 50'd that ball off of the ceiling with 0 boosts. Here's Jordan looking. He got a flip reset there. Oh, stomped by the PK defender, but here comes coming down on a big clear.
And again, a poor start. Look at Rodoko, that 50 on the side wall to ZPS, doing his magic. He's not going to miss those. Farwater, this happens so frequently at the beginning of the matchup. Within that first minute, I feel like I am more anxious in that first minute than the rest of the game.
Yeah, and honestly, I would maybe ask you this: Do you think Alpine maybe feels the same? Because it kind of looks like maybe that's that's the conclusion, right?
I mean, I think they've had a lot of issues within the start of a game, and I don't know if it's because they get into these games in this series and they're not sure what to expect, so they just try to force their own play style instead of going to adapt, which is a smart move. And Jordan, an even smarter one, as he gets the dunk and follows it up to get the first goal. We're all tied up.
I mean, I mentioned it, but I want to see Jordan pop off, and that is step number 1. Let's just shove it down right into the goal there. Like, I mean, looking like Michael Jordan with a dunk. I mean, I think that's a good that was needed, but we have to do better, right? We've now basically tied the game. Yeah, I mean, probably not. Like that looked really difficult to pull off in the first place. ZPS just flubbed that in the worst way possible. Percy out the crossbar, Jordan across the magic. Not enough power. Yeah, that looked like it was just never going to complete in them. Percy's 0 boost. This is actually super dangerous because we are not ready for this defense.
And you can
Double
see
commit
how
in
it's
the
affecting
corner.
us. A double commit, like you said, in the corner. Now, as we try to move this one out, Jordan actually took a break on his own corner boost, trying to wait for that one to spawn up. It does. You can see him with full boost challenging in the midfield. Lots of things to work with now in the midfield. The pass from Magic Bear to Percy. We saw that duo all game long against the Sonics, and now trying to implement it here on offense, but things not resulting in that final goal that we always are looking for with this Alpine roster.
Oh, that's a tough shot. Nice save by Percy. Rodoko's going to get a second look at this. Pass off to the middle and a nice challenge by Magic Bear. Percy, I don't think, has much of any boost. So he's just posturing here. Jordan is left on his own. He's in a 1v2.
Oh,
Off the crossbar.
Sosa.
Off the sidebar up again. Percy again. Oh my god. Here's a clear. Okay. 3 in a row. Percy had 0 boost that entire time. Magic Bear with a huge cut across. We need to get this pressure off of us because I don't think any of us have boost at this point.
And what I like to see is that Magic Bear continued forward after we held on to the pressure, tried to get a solid counterattack. While we didn't end up getting a goal, that's a good look for Alpine and shows that they're ready to attack even after handling all this pressure. Almost a difficult angle there for the Knights. They don't find the shot placement, but it was close. They're lurking for that second goal. And my goodness, I am a bit stressed out for the Alpine defense because there's been double commits flying left and right. Now a couple of midfield passes that aren't connecting, and they get intercepted.
Oh.
If you can read the play, Farwater, then you can get goals like this.
Yeah, I'd almost prefer that Percy just drove at Rodoko there. That is a tough position to be put in because I think Magic just overestimated the touch, but man, Percy just got dunked over. Like, there was no chance at a save. That ball flew out. Jordan's got a nice look at a solo play here. No! Oh, so close. Again,
how did we
so
not get a
close.
goal there? Off the crossbar, goes down. You'd think that somebody from Alpine would follow up, but a lot of times in this level of Rocket League, you don't have enough boost to go for that follow-up. It's smarter to go back in rotation than to risk committing everyone and giving away a free goal to the Knights. And now the best look we've seen for quite some time. This is solid pressure out of Alpine.
Yeah, and what we need is just another answer, right? They scored the first one, then we responded. Now we need to do it again. And that's just a situation that we don't want to be put in going into looking at game 2, just in the future.
Oh, what a
Nice
save
by
by Percy. He had to read that shot coming into the top corner. That was surely going in. But Percy managed to find it. Now Magic Bear into the midfield from Percy. The follow-up drop down. No way you read that. Percy, I think he did actually have it read, but so did Rodoko.
Jordan with a nice pass to Matic, but I just don't think Matic expected him to be able to get the pass over to him. Percy's got a nice look on the backboard, looking for a dunk here. Magic now looking. Jordan being stuck in a terrible position. He's just got burned. We have no one back. This is an open net. Nice job by Percy. It was do or die at that point. We have 20 seconds left. We need to respond. Magic Bear looking for a connection pass. Not quite there. The passes just haven't looked clean.
What a read. I like the defensive passes from Alpine. You can see that Jordan's looking for that more often. And then now a risky 50 right in front of our own net. This is the final opportunity. Alpine needs something. Otherwise, we're not going to walk away with the first win. This one about to drop down off the corner. Not going to stay up. We don't get the lucky bounce. PK. Barely take the first game.
Yeah, we need to start better in game 2. I think Magic Bear with 148 points. You can gauge points however you want, but you definitely want to see him doing more, participating more. That's tough. I don't think he was even problematic in that game, right? It's not that he wasn't doing things. It's just PK got a good solid lead. We had to respond. We were put behind. We were on defense a ton and just being stifled. So we need to find a way to get out of defense more, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know who I'm necessarily looking at to be that person, but it needs to happen because we talked about this in the last series of it is not good to be stuck on defense too often, as PK's got a nice look off of kickoff, but Percy comes across and makes a miracle save.
I always think that points are an interesting conversation in Rocket League. It's very, very hard to gauge how skillful a person is based on their scoreboard position, but then at the same time, I think it's an important element to look at. I mean, Magic Bear, it's not like we're saying he should have necessarily had way more points, but it can be an indicator of your impact. And we truly didn't feel like Magic Bear had the biggest impact in the previous game that he normally does with his 1v1 plays and the bumps. Now Jordan can't get a solid 50. That one's squeezed down. A bit scary for Alpine. I am worried when it comes down to that defense. Now we've got two people on the backboard, and Magic Bear is forced to get an unreal save, but he did find it.
I mean, we mentioned it. We want him to show up. Magic Bear down to Percy. Percy across the goal line. Jordan's not quite there in time to put it in, but Percy gets a second look at this. He's off the backboard. And we have no boost. Team's pulling back. Jordan's going to try and challenge this. Yeah, what a weird rotation. Jordan's cutting it across now, though. Jordan's got a nice bump. Magic across. Percy's here. Cleared up by someone on PK, but I mean, that is about as good of a look as we can get. We need to find a way to convert that. Jordan's looking down. You know, I've seen Percy go for this a lot, where he's like challenging the ball, but either he's not quite there on time, or he's deciding to pull back sooner.
From the corner, I like that look from Percy trying to get a counterattack. Blast that ball forward. You've got Jordan or Magic Bear sitting on the other side. Here's Magic Bear going for a flip reset, cut out by Rodoko. The early challenges for PK have been working in their favor. Jordan maybe going for a dribble instead of trying to take it to the air. The mind games, maybe get one to dive. He did get Rodoko to jump, but the save still came out, and we are on the move for this first goal in game number 2.
Yeah, and Percy's got 25 booster. We have to see what he can do with that. Magic Bear taking with a full tank of boost. I don't know if he got the flip reset there, but you know, it's a neck and neck battle, I think, at this point. And I think whoever scores first is in a really good position, because at this point, there's just not time for much else beyond, you know, a one goal for either team. So Magic Bear beating both. Jordan almost pinching it across. Saved by Sosa.
Big 50 wins for Alpine in the midfield. And as soon as I say that, we lose one of the worst ones, but then check out that one from Jordan. I'm not cursing us, okay? I cursed it for the first challenge, but then Jordan came out and saved me. All right, so we're fine. Nothing to worry about. We have been winning the majority of these challenges. That one not even a challenge. Percy just tosses it straight to PK. And we do have somebody to follow up. The slow rotation for PK allows them to not get the clear and an own goal. What on earth? This is a gift. A gift from the gods themselves. Look at this.
Dude, Merry Christmas. Magic Bear must be wearing a Santa hat right now. Like,
we take those.
I'll take it. I'll take that. Not unlucky. That is entirely skill. You could not script that.
This is high-level Rocket League at its finest. Somebody clip that, submit it to top 10 plays, because that deserves to be on it.
I mean, it's top 10 plays, but maybe not in the positive way, for sure.
I mean, what if
Jordan's got a nice clear.
If Jordan just knew? He had the IQ and also going for the shot. The follow-up from Percy. Alpine are connecting.
Okay, now, I'm not going to say we can rest on our laurels, Turtle, but we can get a little bit comfortable. For the first time, I think, today, we can breathe.
No.
No?
Farwater, you're trying to curse us right now. You get comfortable.
No, I'm not saying they can.
Field.
We can. Turtle, we can. I haven't been breathing.
I thought you were talking about Alpine. I was like, are you kidding me? Please. Don't tell the boys to get comfortable. Look at what you've done. See? A double commit already happened because of you.
Man, I'm stressed. These games stress me out.
I think being an Alpine fan is probably one of the most thrilling, exciting, stressful. It just feels like
Percy's insane. Dude.
You are
Percy
wearing
is insane. I'm listening.
We're wearing a swimsuit in the middle of a blizzard, but we just came out of the Saharan desert. That's how I feel right now. You know what I'm saying?
That is extremely descriptive, but I understand exactly the picture you're painting.
Do you actually know what I'm saying, though? Do you understand?
It's like the bike analogy earlier this week, where no one else understood, and Twitch chat was like, "What facing you?" But I understood, and ultimately that's all that matters, right? The only thing that matters is that I, as your co-caster, understand, because I can help them translate.
See, FDOT normally just roasts me, but you actually sympathize with my ridiculous points that make absolutely no sense. And what if I actually don't understand what I'm saying myself, but I'm just trying to act like I'm saying something smart? You know, there's levels to this.
Luckily for you, a fan of the movie Inception, so I'm used to it.
There we go. There we go.
And every time I mention something that I think is really cool, like being a fan of Inception, Jordan had an epic play, Percy was going for an epic play, and I want them to score it so we can have like an epic tie-in to some kind of
epic
kind of
Doomsday
casting
highlight
point.
montage.
Some kind of like, oh, and then there's the thing that we were just talking about. It's so cool, but they keep missing, and I need them to hit one so
Well,
we can
here's
put it in
what's
the
gonna
montage.
happen. Check this out. Check this out. Check this out. Okay, well, there's
I'm
10
checking
seconds
it out,
left. I'm
Turtle.
gonna tell you exactly how this next kickoff is gonna go down. Okay?
Okay.
It's gonna
Yeah.
go back right for the Pittsburgh Knights, a big booming clear, but then Jordan flies up super high in the air, finds the 50, sets up Percy with a double tap off the back.
I'm calling it goes close right. It's going close right. It's going close
Here we
right.
go.
Yep. Going.
Okay, I lied, but hold on.
Okay,
I was completely wrong.
Jordan came in like a missile there. But, you know, 0 seconds left. Magic kills the ball. Yeah, can we mention real quick? Magic Bear's car is so bright. I mean, it's not the Alpine decal, but...
What is that decal?
Dude, it's not a decal. I think he's just using a
Oh
super, like, shiny paint. I don't know.
Yeah, he's using like a stock car with some
Yeah.
insane, shiny, like gold looking. It's not gold, but it's green. It's so distracting on the field. But I don't know. Maybe that's a good thing. It makes him feel confident. He's basically asserting himself on the field with that car design, feeling arrogant, which is good because he deserves it. This was a really solid game for all three boys on Alpine. It wasn't anybody in particular because a lot of times when Alpine gets a win, you know, it can come down to one individual player like Percy who pops off. But this felt like it was a cultivation of all three.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned confidence with decals. I know we've talked about it a little bit. Oh, that was almost insane. But Magic Bear especially, I've talked to him about this, where he feels like he plays so much better depending on the decal he's using. And I know that's like fairly common to Rocket League players, but he especially was like, oh yeah, I change decals between every single game sometimes during like series because like one of these just doesn't feel fast enough for me.
I understand that. I think the biggest issue I have with decals or what I'm, I guess, equipping on my car is the wheels. I think the wheels are the most important part. If you don't have Cristianos or like, you know, some sleek looking wheels, even Zombas sometimes are a bit risky in my opinion. This is RL fashion advice. We're not even commentating on the game. We just got to talk about fashion advice because maybe it'll lead to something. We need to give the boys luck.
I hope it leads to something for sure. Yeah, I think it's interesting to look at, you know, what that kind of does to just your psychology in general. I mean, this is completely detached from this game specifically, but like Percy's been using the same. Jordan got bumped in the goal. Please, Matic, clear that ball. But yeah, you know, Jordan like specifically only uses Zombas whenever he uses Alpine decals because he prefers how they feel. So I think it's just a super interesting thing about how pro players look at their decals.
Oh, and don't even get me started on camera settings. I bet every single player in this
Dude,
lobby
your
loves
camera settings are so
much.
chaotic.
Dude, I hate. Honestly, I think camera settings are the most placebo thing in this game. I lose. I get scored on by like what, some random in ranked one time, and I'm like, it's my camera settings. Or maybe I missed a flip reset. I legitimately think in my head if I had different camera settings, I would have scored that, which is an excuse. But it's valid, all right? I think we can all admit that it's a little bit valid. Maybe some camera settings would have helped me out in certain situations, and I'm sure that some pro players can relate to that as that midfield pass goes wide. Percy on the shot couldn't connect, but a really good back pass, so we keep this possession going, Mr. Farwater.
Yeah, and we get a really good look here. Yeah, perfect. Magic just stuffs the ball. We just need to keep the pressure on. I mean, you do this long enough, and you choke them out of enough boost that a goal comes easily. And again, we're getting into that dangerous time of like, I mean, Magic Bear is literally freestyling right now. Magic Bear is literally freestyling right now.
This man is auditioning to be on Jazer's channel. Look at the pre-flip off the backboard. Nobody from Pittsburgh Knights had a read on it because you cannot anticipate that level of mechanics coming out. You're going to assume Magic Bear doesn't have a touch. He got it over the heads, and we get a free goal.
This is a little bit worrying, but I think we have it under control. Yeah, you know, that's a super. I mean, that's just a super cool play. Oh, from Magic Bear, where, I mean, if you challenge him, you probably get scored on anyway by Percy, and if you don't challenge him, he does that, and if you look like you're going to challenge him, he fakes you. So he just had total control over that play, and that's what we needed. I mean, I was just about to talk about it, but you know, we were getting into that time where it's about 2 minutes left, and another goal is very hard to pull off. Just on either team. Magic Bear should have went for the bump there. Oh, I wanted him to chase that bump. Percy with a nice demo and rotations though. This sets us up to either keep it on their side or another shot from Magic. Like again, just get those rotations, get those demos on rotations, and just keep the pressure up. Because I think PK is just feeling smothered right now, and Rodoko is chasing a demo on Jordan, who's in our back half.
Yeah, it's a difficult line to stay behind and not cross whenever you have all this pressure, because you don't want to give away a free counterattack, obviously, but then if you push back, you're just giving them space to work with, and this is a lot of space, which is the exact thing we need to avoid. Giving space to PK, letting them situate themselves on offense and get a demo involved.
Yeah, Jordan definitely was not expecting that 50 with Percy at the midfield to go that way. I think it was super awkward for him to cut the rotation, and yeah, Matic got chased for a demo in the net, and that's just what happens. You don't really get to play the game at that point.
There's a good 52 from whoever was behind the ball. I think it was Rodoko has that one off the side post. Jordan's able to clear it out, but stuck in our half. Alpine can't find a way to transition, but this is certainly one that will work. Magic Bear on the flip reset. The demo came out, but then Percy gets sniped himself, and our pressure is killed.
Yeah, funnily enough, Magic Bear like had 0 boost, and then it spawned on him right as he was coming across. So he got to actually make a play. Oh my, Jordan, that was almost so close. Actually, that was Percy that got the bump. Magic Bear was the one that was up.
These demos for Alpine look so good. I don't know how we haven't found something. Jordan was in the last man position, had barely any boost to work with, and was milliseconds away from finding the save.
Those are just not the 50s that you want to see. I mean, super unlucky, I guess. Like, but definitely not what you want to see when the team is maybe in a weird rotation. And
maybe he could have flipped better in rotation to get more speed. That's an interesting thing that I would love to go back in the replay, but we don't have time for that. We've got 7 seconds left. Need to keep this ball up if we want to stay alive in this game. Otherwise, we force match point for PK. Percy's got it on his hood, though. This could lead into something, a nice 50. Magic Bear maybe passes it up to Percy, and it's still up. There is a chance, Farwater, I believe. I still believe. I don't believe. It's fine.
So close, man. Just bad 50s.
We look so good.
Like, yeah, not even bad 50s. They're just 50s that don't go our way in the midfield, and like, I guess we just weren't ready for it, and
we look so
we get scored
good.
on.
We look so good. I feel weird. I'm not gonna lie. It's like
I feel pain.
This is Alpine. The Alpine stream has been officially rebranded to become Alpine. This is how I feel. Okay?
2 days.
We've got Jordan. Jordan's popping off, right? With demos, air dribbles. He's on the Dominus. You see Jordan on the Dominus, it's over. We're connecting with the midfield passes. Where are the goals? It's not even like it's coming down to our shots. I feel for the boys at this moment in time with how hard they're working on offense. All this pressure, but nothing is getting PK's defense to bite.
Yeah, I think it comes down to they've had some really good 50s and really good reads on some steals on like the midway and sometimes on our half, and then we just cannot seem to score more than like 1 goal in any of our series so far, which is crazy, like you said, because we have so many shots as we've got a weird clear down the middle, but luckily it gets hand off of a weird tough from ZPS. But yeah, I mean, Rodoko, please, just let us clear the ball, man.
Could be a matter of not panicking. I have seen a couple of times where PK in the rotation, the midfield, they're not rushing too much to get to a challenge. Like right here, look, Sosa knows all that space is there. It was a really good 50 from Jordan, but Sosa definitely had the advantage with all that space that was given, but if we keep getting 50s like that, maybe it could lead to something. Magic Bear with the 1v1 display, flicked over one, couldn't get the second. That was a good look.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I think PK's 50s are just too good, or like they're. I don't know if they're just ball chasing and it's making them get every 50 on the planet, but
Oh no,
it looks
no,
so frustrating.
I don't like that. I don't like seeing the other team get flip resets in the midfield. I'm not gonna lie to you. And then off the backboard with no boost. That's no bueno. We don't like seeing that, and also we don't like seeing space
Open nets.
in front of the net when nobody's in net. It is tough.
Yeah.
I don't even know what just happened. Percy went for the boost. Maybe he thought somebody was in net rotating in. I'm not even sure where the third man was. What happened?
I would love to know, because that one was definitely a thinker. But I mean, you got to score. At the end of the day, that's the biggest thing that matters, right? You just have to score.
Big game!
Percy snipes one in on PK's side, and just a good 50 from Jordan. He's had some clean 50s so far this series. And Percy with just a perfectly placed ball. That's what we needed. Quick equalizers. That's what you love to see. Like, you hate getting scored on, but you equally love when you get a quick equalizer because the pressure gets taken off suddenly.
It does feel like a battle of 50-50s on the field. This one popped up, and we didn't have a follow-up. Rodoko. Did this start with a 50? Was it a challenge that led to this? Let's see. Okay.
No, it was just ZPS
kind
things.
of?
ZPS things. I kind of, but ZPS he just burned Jordan in the air and.
Well,
just
then Percy
ZPS
could have
things,
gotten a
ZPS
challenge on it.
things.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
It was like, you see ZPS trailing behind the ball, and then Percy assumed that ZPS was going for like a ground pinch, but then ZPS boosted away from it, forced Percy to get a bad touch right in front of the box, and then we give away a free shot. That is, like you said, ZPS just doing ZPS things. Hard to read that play, but we still need to regain. Half the game has come and gone. Alpine need to tie this one up and get a couple of passes connected if they want to do just that.
Yeah, you know, we mentioned Rodoko and where he fits in this team, and I think I've diagnosed that he is the person that just 50s every single ball, because I see this man challenging the ball.
There it is!
Oh! The give and go.
This is the duo that we talk about non-stop. And I'm not even sure what happened there. Might have had a technical issue with the server. Something happened. We're going to get right back into the action. And we're still in here. Never mind, I lied. We're still in the game. We back. That was spooky. That's the last thing you want to see. And I'm glad we're back because we didn't miss the goal. Oh my goodness.
We take those, right? Magic with the perfect placement.
That really was beautiful from Magic.
Yeah, and I think that's, like, we've talked about this a little bit today, but like our shots sometimes, like, we hit straight at the defender, and that makes me very happy to see that like he actually had such good placement there. Oh my god.
Why?
I'm gonna stop talking about it.
We feel good. It's hard being an Alpine supporter right now because we feel nothing but pain. It's a roller coaster. You go up the roller coaster and then straight down. This is a difficult emotional state to be in, but either way, I am attached. My eyes are glued to the screen, Farwater.
I mentioned quick equalizers earlier, and PK has managed to score within like 10 seconds of every single one of our goals. Nice demo by Percy.
Right.
Matt just got to look to Percy in their back corner. He's gonna give it back.
It's fine. It's fine. Magic Bear on the demo. Okay, we're putting PK in very panic-inducing situations. Well, we haven't seen the panic too much. I think if we keep this up, like Jordan with that demo, that means ZPS is pretty much alone. It's an easier situation for him to panic, but he doesn't panic. And they keep winning 50s. Look at that stuff from Rodoko to keep the pressure on.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jordan is starting to come up to speed, though. You know, he's had a couple of really good looks in the air of beating someone again,
like that?
right there. I mean, he's definitely burning people to the ball more often than not, and I think that's the look that we're looking for. Nice 50 by Magic Bear, goes out to the side. Rodoko demos Percy. I don't know quite where that. I think that was on their offensive half, but Nice clear by Jordan. Let's see if he can get a pass middle over to Magic. I don't
he's
think
vibing.
anybody was expecting
Oh.
that to come out.
I liked his idea there to use the bottom half of his car to get the flip off the back post. And my goodness, Jordan is going into Super Saiyan mode. He has activated the extra 10% of energy he's been storing because he is popping off this game, flowing with all the rotations. You talked about him winning in the air. Maybe Percy is dabbling a bit with the aerial gameplay. And Jordan with the speed yet again, allowing
What was that?
Magic Bear to get
The
a
ball
shot.
just
Nothing is working.
Died.
That ball just came to a
freaking
standstill.
out.
I think that was
I'm freaking
one
out.
of the weirdest. Oh my god, he almost
Jordan?
dunked. Jordan with a
Jordan?
chance. With the fake to
The
Percy!
fake. What? What?
Please, just put the ball in. That's all. we
How
want.
does that not result? What more do you need? We get a fake from Jordan and Percy. Jordan jumped up for it, made PK go for the ball initially. Percy with a clanger, and it's not enough. What do we need? What more?
Not a double. Not a.
Bro, I cannot understand how this happens. That is one of the rarest things I think we see, where a team looks so dominant. Okay? We're out here on the pitch. We look the rotations, the 50s. Jordan is literally going at 400 miles per hour. He's going like Mach 10 on the field. But what happens, Mr. Farwater? We don't get the goal. We get nothing to show for it. And then we lose within the first 10 seconds of OT.
It's incredibly frustrating. Like, I'm laughing, but I am also crying. Like,
No,
dude.
no.
It is so frustrating to have so many amazing looks on the goal line with 3 shots concurrently, and then 10 seconds later, there's a ball in the back of your net. Like,
This
I don't
is
know,
why, I mean, whenever I see games like this is what makes me think of why teams like NRG
you
and
stop
Envy
being
are
a
just.
pro.
Yes, that too. That too. I mean, I know exactly what it feels like to feel dominant on the field, to look like the team that's going to take it home. But it comes down to consistency. You cannot have an offense that is so threatening, deadly on the field, and then whenever it comes down to your defense, you're not able to hold up those same rotations and that same level of speed and mechanics, because it's a disaster. It doesn't matter who you're up against. You have an automatic disadvantage if your defense is a bit wishy-washy compared to your offense, regardless of how good it looks. And even whenever our offense looks good and like it could carry us to a win, we should have won that game, because we're thinking back to the Percy Jordan fake. Jordan backflip. Percy had the chance. It was so close. But the defense in this game, Farwater, it is on another level. Being able to get saves like that on shots where Jordan and Percy are faking the other team out, and you still get a pre-jump save, that's unreal. Truthfully, that's unreal.
Yeah, it's not even down to shot accuracy. Like, everything looked so good, everything looked so clean. It's just defense is good. And I feel for the team. I think those are really tough losses. I think there's probably a lot to learn just in terms of what can be changed, what can be improved upon. But I think just the biggest takeaway that we can look at is, it is the grid. It's not a regional that seeds into Worlds, so better here than there, I guess. But
I mean,
it's definitely one of those where you just wish you would win instead.
I think it is a positive thing. That's how we should interpret this, because when you look at Alpine and you look at these games, day 1 of the grid, we went to game 5 against Xset. We kept it so close. That series, we could have closed it out. Coming out into day 2, we had a couple of rough chances against Oxygen, Charlotte Phoenix, and in a lot of these series, Farwater, Alpine look fantastic. It's just finding consistency, and that will come with time. The question is, do the boys have enough mental stamina? Because this is exhausting for a player. And I can say this with my own personal experience. Whenever you are working so hard day in, day out, but you're not getting the results you want, you look and you feel good at so many moments in the game, but you just fall short by a small margin every time. It's so depleting on your energy. And these players can either turn to take the frustration out with practice and putting more work into the game and use that to fuel them, or they can go down the other route, which is to get upset, let it filter, and basically dictate your thoughts. And that's the last thing we want to see. So if I'm the Alpine boys, if I'm their coach, you got to make sure that this is used as fuel and that they can understand they are this close from starting to turn things around and win nearly every single game. This is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think we just need to look at what's next, what's coming up, and they will work on what they need to work on. It is a matter of them just figuring it out. And there are obviously good looks. We saw them throughout the day. We want to see them converted.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's just a matter of not tilting and pushing through the difficult parts.
Yeah, I feel for the boys. It has been a tough couple of days in the grid, but it is not over yet. There are still several more days of the grid, of this league play format, to watch Alpine succeed and fight back to the top. There's so much room to improve, and we are making big strides, in my opinion. It's looked better and better every single week. Farwater, thank you for joining me today to watch Alpine. I don't even want to say struggle, but just fight. This is a fight, a long war, but I think that we have what it takes to come out positive and better at the end. I know we have what it takes. We've got the next grid matchup on April 5th. That is this Monday. We're going to be going up against Rogue. Make sure you tune in for that, because all it takes is one series to turn things around. That's in 2 days. Again, Monday, the 5th of April. We hope to see you there. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time.